Alright, I am finally back and recording another video after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Regardless, several reasons for delays, holiday nonsense and holiday scheduling messing with me, which is likely to continue. Trying to sort of adjust to where the game was going to fall out after the Targaryen box, which seems like Night's Watch is like the top dog, and then like Targaryen attachment Voltron is also a pretty big threat. But overall, seems okay. I mean, I don't have any major complaints, except that Night's Watch needs to be toned down a bit. Although I can unfortunately confirm that the game seems to be shifting ever more towards what I like to call lame decks in various forms. And the one that I have pulled up here, I would say, is at least a semi-lame deck, if not full-on lame, which is a little unfortunate, but it's just the way that it is. And the decks that aren't like some type of attrition or something like that, decks that are actually playing big characters, they're very focused on being all-in decks that try to win on like turn 2 or 3 at the latest, and using plots that will give very immediate temporary advantages so that they can do that. That's why you see like Barring the Gates has become very popular. All decks with big characters will probably have Barring the Gates in them now, because they're hoping they can just throw down Barring and then win before they get like outvalued. So I don't know. That's just something to think about. And another problem is that the deck that I knew I had to make and then play was House Lannister Banner of the Stag. And I really struggled with this deck for like 2 weeks. I was trying and trying and trying to make a Renly Baratheon deck work, because I really like to use Renly Baratheon with the Hound. And I was like, well, if I'm using the Hound that way, then I need the Flea Bottom and Gold Mine. But then Flea Bottom is restricted, so I can't play trade routes, and I can't play Great Halls either. So it's really unappealing to try to use any other big characters in the deck, which is unfortunate because what I really would have liked to have done would have like Renly, Tywin, and then the 7-cost Cersei in there as like the 3 big characters, and try to play with them and have a strategy around them. But the restricted list, putting Great Hall on there, it just makes it so much harder to do a deck like that, and it just wasn't working. The same problem that I probably mentioned with the Baratheon Dragon deck, but even more so, is that like you can scrap out a win if you just stay in the game long enough, I guess. But it becomes very difficult to actually gain power against people that have half a clue what they're doing and that are not going to declare pointless challenges or just give you a lot of unopposed for free. It's hard to ever actually win the game, even if you're like blocking a lot of the opponent's stuff. And that's why I eventually just gave up on it and did this instead, which this is a Shadows deck with a Stag banner. And 2 Castle Guards, Red Priest is like a super ridiculous card. Emery's always worth 1 copy, and then the Shadow Priestesses and Shireen. Not super exciting, but it works. Kind of unfortunate, but this is just the state of, this does seem to be, as far as I could see, probably the most effective Lannister archetype at the moment, unless you were to go for all-out rush with like crossing or something. And even that doesn't seem to be particularly good, because I feel like I've beaten that every time I've run into it. And I have run into it several times recently, but I keep winning whenever I play against it. And I think one reason is because the Lannister crossing deck does not want to play Barring the Gates, because they have enters play effects, like the 0 cost that puts a dude into play. I can't remember what it's called. I never bet against my family and stuff like that, so they don't want to play Barring the Gates, and that makes it hard for them. The other Stag card that I brought in is, while this is Shadow's like value deck, you also have the win condition that you bring from Baratheon, which is 2 Iron Thrones and 2 Chambers of the Painted Table, which again is kind of lame, but is undeniably very effective, because you no longer have to worry about, well, how am I actually going to get enough power to win the game? If you just put these 2 out there, usually the opponent is now placed on a timer where they have to affirmatively do something over and above to shift the game into their favor. And you have much more of an ability to play defensively, and you don't feel any need to like waste resources trying to push challenges through or things like that. And that's sort of where the deck is at. You can definitely lose games because King Plot and Barring is everywhere, and sometimes you'll just lose to those because, obviously. But other than that, it's fairly strong, I would say. And even I've had games like against a Baratheon opponent where they have like double dupe Stannis on turn 1, and then they go king plot, and then they go barring, and then once they're through with those plots, they don't have any more plots that block all my cards, then I win. That can also definitely happen. So yeah, let's see, talking about the deck, I don't think there's anything super revolutionary here, but was looking forward to playing with this new Tyrion. I haven't gotten to play too many games with it yet. He's an interesting card. So far, the main way that I've used him, though, is to get negative attachments off of my stuff. Like, I had somebody put Seized by the Guard with 4 gold on it on my red keep, and I was like, okay, that's cute. That's 5 gold down the drain. I mean, I had to spend 4 to bring the red keep back out of Shadows after I used Tyrion on it, but overall, not a great trade for the opponent there. Things like that. So I think he using that type of combo with him is just interesting. And something funny that you can do with him is you can put your Red Priest in the Shadows. So you can give them a card back, whatever the Red Priest card was, if you don't care about that, and then bring it out later, like in the middle of the next challenges phase, after you play the first Snow of Winter or something, and take a different card out of their hand. I haven't actually gotten to do that yet, but I think it would be funny. Burnman, because it's cheap and ambushes on first snow. Bunches of shadow cards. I'm using this Cersei as well, which was not in the Lannister Kingdom of Shadows deck. And that's another way this deck differentiates from like Kingdom of Shadows, because the Kingdom of Shadows gives you such a massive amount of options with Shadows characters. Characters like this Cersei can get edged out because you want to use stuff like Nighttime Marauders or whatever, like Bolton Flayers, whatever weird cards like that. But in this deck, where it's just a banner, the options are a lot more limited. So I think she fits in just fine. Whenever there's situations where the other person, they're also playing like a slow deck that's trying to play a long game, just having a big turn where she shows up and discards 3 cards out of their hand is really powerful. And then you can use Iron Bank or Clever Feint on her, or whatever you want to do. So yeah, about covers that. Got the pinches, because pinch is super strong as a potential win condition and for activating Shadows triggers cheaply and repeatedly. Milk, because it slows down big guy decks that are trying to use barring. And some of these new locations, the Guildhall, the Red Keep, I almost said the Iron Throne. The Iron Throne is also here. It's all the locations that you would expect. I went with gold mines instead of the Gold Road. First, because I'm going double trade routes, so hopefully I don't need gold as much. Which, that is weak to Political Disaster, but I think Political Disaster is like auto-lose for this deck, so I'm not going to try to play around it. And the gold mine helps you toss duplicates of locations that you don't need, like you draw your second Alchemist Guildhall or something, and if you draw duplicates of Cersei or Tyrion, and you either don't want to use them or the character is dead, then you toss them with gold mine. So I think it's a little bit of a preference there. I would prefer to have both, but there's like so many econ options. Like, I'm definitely going to have Gates, Rose Roads, and Lion Gates. I'm not cutting those. And I'm counting like Bowels and Red Keep are also income. So at some point, it's like, how many economy cards am I really going to have? Especially for a trade route stack with 18 locations. And the events, Poison Coin sometimes wins the game. And even when it doesn't, just quite a strong and annoying card I've found. I think there's been very few, if any, games where I've played this and then like not been able to use or activate it at some point to do something that was impactful. I think it's been a solid inclusion in the deck. But obviously this is a flex spot where you could put Lay Waste if you want to deal with the wall, or different cards that you might prefer. And of course you have to have Clever Feint and Iron Bank. And the plot deck is a familiar one for a Shadows heavy deck like this one. At the gates, into all 3 resets, double trade routes, and exchange of information. Which is another reason I prefer gold mines, because you can play exchange, and it doesn't, and like if you have a gold mine, it's fine if they give you a bad card, because you just toss it with the gold mine, and it's still like better than counting coppers at that point. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's hope for no Shadows hate. Although if I lose to Shadows hate, I'm gonna show it. Oh geez, Sea of Blood. This has to be a bad matchup. If I lose to Shadows hate, I'm gonna show it. This game I'm probably gonna show even if I get smacked. Because this deck deserves to lose and get trolled on at least once. Well, I do have Old Bill Bone. That's really good, right? And Clever Feint. That's actually pretty damn good to deal with Sea of Blood. Oh, it's a Dothraki. Alright. It's tempting to immediately play Valar Morghulis when they have no locations. Probably not worth it. Actually, the concern here for me is that he might do naval superiority. People have been doing that again, and that really pisses me off. So tempting to do that Valar, man. If he does naval, Valar is for sure the right play. I really don't like it, but I'm going to do it. Okay. Should I go first? I have 0 claims, so there's just no reason to go first. If I had claim, I would go first. I would have done at the gates if I wasn't scared of naval. Or if I knew I was going to draw Red Priest. But my gold is so low. I only have 4 gold, but I would have exactly enough for Red Priest and the Old Billbone. That's still questionable. Hopefully he doesn't play... He only plays like 1 character above 3 cost, and then I can do First Snow next turn. Alright, Shadows. That's really good. So that's Aegon and Shadows, almost guaranteed. The issue is that whenever he does the military, I have to bring out Old Bill Bone to kneel the faction card. But then, like, he might get picked for claim. I guess I can Clever Feint him before he'll be picked for claim. Well, I'm definitely doing this. And then I guess the Red Keep is super good because it cancels Aegon. This seems like the play. And then I can't even afford Old Bill Bone, but that's fine if I cancel Aegon because he can't have enough military at that point. Watch this be Shadow Black Assassin. I would not be happy. Damn, he got me. I wasn't prepared for Kotho. Oh, that was supposed to cancel Kotho, not Miss Sandy. That's annoying. Oh well. Yeah, I should have remembered Kotho. That was my fault. How do you pick Bowels? I would not have picked Bowels. I would pick Red Keep. Saving 3 money, huh? Alright, what are we discarding? This guy's going to be useless. Red Priest not going to be good. Sure, let's do At the Gates now. Then we either do trade routes or First Snow. The King in the North, seriously? This is what I'm talking about. This is so common. Like, everybody plays it. Oh, he put me first. Okay. Maybe I just marshal 2 of these guys, 2 Regent's Guards. I think I like that. No Beggar King, please. Of course. This needs to be on a restricted list so badly, King in the North. I think that was wrong, because he can, yeah, this, raiding Khalazar. Yeah, that's 9. Which would be exactly enough, but he doesn't know about Old Billbone. Even though that really hurts. The most important thing was to block the agenda trigger. Let's use one of these before the intrigue claim. See, this is a turn where Valar Morghulis would be better than on that first turn. So it sucks that I guessed wrong on that. He gets the other clever feint, which also sucks. But isn't the worst thing ever. Oh man, it's either trade routes or first snow. If I have first snow, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which is just not as much as I want. That's not unexpected. Oh, you might regret putting me first. I don't have anything that can activate this, though. Not bad. But not enough gold to use that, and Robber's strong. So I have to do this, save 5, and then I can't afford anything else, unfortunately. See, I could put Pinch into Shadows, go down to 4, bring Pinch out in Challenges phase, and go back up to 5. Is that really worth it? It's really not. I'll just sit. Sucks I couldn't get one more card into Shadows. I would like to use the Lion Gate just to try to draw Burned Men. I might should have canceled that. That might be his only put to the torch. I'm guessing this will kill Aegon. Although that wasn't very smart. Why would you not just defend if you were going to pick him for claim? Like, if he was going to play around Robert Strong, then he would pick Aegon and do all three. But what he did doesn't make any sense. No, my pinch. I wonder if he's going to do political disaster. That would suck. I think I have a pretty good advantage now if he doesn't do it. Like, if he doesn't have that plot. He did those in the wrong order, but sure. Shadow Priestess is so good in a matchup like this. Like, I've had games against more standard Targ decks where they're just doing a bunch of burn BS, and she comes out and stops Drogon. It's huge. Alright, I can trade route again or exchange. If I exchange, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just not as much as I want, dude. Because the Shadow Priestess costs 5, and then I only have 3. That's not too surprising. You gonna make me first again? Hasn't really been working out that well. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, that makes more sense. Honestly, his problem is he only has 6 gold and or 7. I guess I have Gates to the Moon, but still, with 0 military icons on board, it's just going to be really hard. Because I have 10 military strength and he has 0. So I don't know how he's going to overcome that. Oh, you think I'm scared of that? Think I'm scared of that boy? No, sir. He's harmless. Even if he could win a challenge, the Red Keep would cancel him. That bird will not fly. Oh, I lost my gold mine. That sucks. Let's just do this now. Oh, I drew a milk. Damn, that's not very useful. Do I want to kneel Aegon or Drogon? Drogon is harmless. He literally can't do anything because Robert just blocks him straight up. So let's do it this way. Oh, I did that wrong. Oh no, because Poison Coin. That's why I did it that way. Because Poison Coin will get my Bowels trigger in challenges. But I was supposed to keep this in shadows for a challenge phase. And then, yeah, he realizes that doesn't work. And then use the Lion Gate, so that's a misplay. Yeah, now he's going to have 0 characters on board, 0 cards in hand, and he's going to lose 3 unopposed, so I won. Get out, Sea of Blood. Can't do anything to me. I'm not going to use that. This is a proper order, because if you use the Poison Coin before Military Claim, it only kills 1 character. And he did not play around Poison Coin, I think, because this has to be a character that does not have Shadow on a character without Shadow. So he actually could play around it by choosing Drogon for military claim, but he didn't do it. Like, even if he plays Valar Morghulis now, it doesn't matter because he just has absolutely nothing. And I'm going to have a ton of gas left, even if he kills all of this. Yeah, marched. That's funny. I should have just left the Drogon and let it get marched. I mean, he wouldn't play that if he still had Drogon on the field, but it's just amusing. See, look how good exchange of information is. Look at all that. He can only give me one dead card here, but I'm getting 4, and they're like all going to be really bad for him except for the red keep. I want to keep Old Billbone in case I get like I haven't even played First Snow yet, so that can bring him back to hand. Iron Bank, Clever Feint, even Tyrion could put him back, so I could use his ability again. I don't think that the opponent's going to threaten their agenda again at any point in this game, but hypothetically, if I wanted to continue to block it, you want to keep Old Billbone around to potentially be reused. Yeah, if I had like a gold mine, then I would toss this and I would get like 4 cards out of that. I guess I should do this. Don't think it matters. Tyrion is too expensive, unfortunately. Then, like, none of these other cards matter that much. Just spend 3 on Shireen. Yeah, I think he kind of knows. Even though I'm only a 6 power, I don't think he has any way back into this game. Sea of Blood does tend to be sort of an all-in strategy, especially if you do it with you win or you die. Then it's definitely like all-in. No, I'm gonna have to start resetting myself. It's kind of funny. I guess I'll do First Snow because it bounces Old Billbone. Oh no, Vanquish the Unbelievers. Super scary. Yeah, GG. Got him. Got him. Wow, that ended up being super one-sided at the end there. Holy crap. He was like looking really iffy those first couple turns, not sure what's going to happen, and then he just got totally blown out. The turning point was definitely the Robert Strong turn, where he went in with Kotho and raiding Calazar, and Robert Strong slapped him. That was really bad for him. He did not play around the Robert Strong correctly. If he had played around it and done it the way that I said, then I'm not sure what would have happened, but he would have had a way better chance, that's for sure. So, yep, there we go. Get shadows, boy. Didn't really get to show off the Chamber of the Painted table, but trust me, if you're against another deck that's like a Shadows deck or something, that's not an all-in deck, this does a ton of work.